Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. TFANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Show for sports fans, by sports fans. It's your boy Coach I, and you know I got the stat guy with me. What's up, stat guy?
All right, Coach, man. Hey, on to week 9 of college football, man. Where's the time gone?
Hey, man, we flying through this college football season, man, and just like you like me, man, you love college football like I do, and it's about to be over, like over. Like after this weekend, next Tuesday, we get the first college football playoff rankings to come out, the ones that actually matter. Everybody's been going back and forth about who should be number one. This team should be ranked. These should be ranked higher than me. Our team should be ranked higher than yours. Like, who cares if it ain't the college football playoff committee's ranking? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's been all over Twitter. Who's going to be in the top 4? But rubber meets the road next Tuesday when the polls come out. And look, man, all these teams that are vying for it, just keep winning football games. It'll work its way out for you. Don't you worry.
That's right. And if I'm not mistaken, South Carolina, one of these polls out there, it's about 10, 11 of them, but one of these polls, South Carolina broke into the top 25 with a good win, a conference win over Texas A&M. But before y'all say it's not a good win, any conference win is a good win.
Yeah, man, we'll take it. But, hey, man, we got some Big 12 action this week, man. This is going to be a huge game for Big 12 football. Let's talk about this Oklahoma State and Kansas State game.
That's right, man. Let's talk about this Oklahoma State versus Kansas State. Before we get started into it, man, I want to give a shout out to Chuck Brown. Chuck Brown, one of the viewers from the last Oklahoma State Texas video. We were saying Okie State, which is what a lot of people say here in the Southeast, and actually, on the Eastern Seaboard. Not a lot of people know the history of it. He actually, instead of, there was, shout out to some other Oklahoma State fans. They brought it up that they didn't like to hear it, but he was the only one that actually said why and told us it was a derogatory term. And after I looked it up, shout out to Chuck Brown, man, for putting us on, giving us some education. And just wanted to give him a shout out there. So on to Oklahoma State versus Kansas State, man. Last week, Oklahoma State beat Texas. It was a good game. Listen, but basically a shootout. I mean, they put up 75 points. Quinn Ewers threw over 300 yards, but he also had 3 picks as well. Oklahoma State, they got down early. It's kind of back and forth, but when they got down, it looked like Texas had control of it. It's like Oklahoma State just kind of turned it on.
Yeah, no, all the chatter on Twitter's, man, the Oklahoma State offense versus when they're up 2 scores versus down 2 scores is night and day. And maybe they should just always play like they're down because, man, they flip that light switch and you see what that electric offense is all about. And, their offense gets most of the love, but, man, give it up for the defense. They got the stop when it mattered, gave their team a chance to win the game, and they went down the field and did it.
That's right, man. In this day and age of college football, man, it seems like everybody can score. Everybody got skilled players on offense. And when you say somebody's got a decent defense or at least played a decent defensive game, you may have given up 30-plus points, but you got to be able to get the stop when it counts. And they was able to get the stop when it counts. On the other side, man, Kansas State had to take on them Horned Frogs, man, and the battle of the purple. And the Horned Frogs came out on top, even though Kansas State, man, controlled that game for a lot of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, for a Kansas State fan, you hate Adrian Martinez going out in that first possession. I think he had 1 rush for 19 yards, only threw 2 or 3 passes. I mean, you hate seeing him go out. But, man, in the fourth quarter, even with your backup in, you had a chance to win that game, and they just didn't make the plays when they needed to. But, they were there. You probably say the what-ifs of if he doesn't go down. But, hey, end of the day, this is college football. It was week 8. You're going to have injuries. Everybody's going to have injuries. You just got to play football and make the plays when it counts. And TCU made a couple more plays down the wire than Kansas State, and it got him the win and put him in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Will Howard's been on the team, a year or two. He's got some experience, and he came in and played good. He got hurt a little bit, banged up in the third quarter, but then came back in the fourth. My question to Kansas State fans, if Was it just the strategy, or what's going on, and why did Deuce Vaughn only get 12 carries? Like, that's what I want to know. Coming into this season, for those that don't, watch every single game, like, of course, we knew about Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn is one of the best running backs in the nation. I just want to know why he didn't. I watched another game, Clemson Syracuse game, where Sean Tucker only got 5 carries, but I'm trying to figure out why some of the top like 5 to 10 running backs in the nation are not getting carries, especially like in the Kansas State TCU game. Kansas State was actually up, so I'm like, ain't that the time to run the ball? You know what I'm saying? Like, to kind of try to salt some of the time off. But what's your thoughts on that, Stat Guy?
No, and I think it comes down to the injury. I think with Adrian Martinez in there, they're definitely way more run heavy. Adrian also brings a different look because he can definitely kill you with his legs if it's RPO or some read stuff. And so maybe they just feel more comfortable with how it is in the offense with letting him throw the ball more. But definitely, I mean, you get away from who you are, you get away from your workhorse, and look what it did. I mean, end of the day, man. But hey, man, that's college football. That's why you line up and play the game every Saturday.
That's right, man. But on to this week when they're taking on each other, they're actually fighting for second in the Big 12. TCU has a decent. It ain't comfortable. It's a decent lead. They got a 1-game lead on both of these teams. Both of these teams took an L too. That's what their loss is. So this is definitely a big game this weekend, because whoever loses this game now is behind the 2 teams that are in front of them, needing them to lose one more than they have. So if if Oklahoma State loses, then they'll need Kansas State to lose 2 more times. You know what I'm saying? So this is a big one, Jeff. And we got that Oklahoma State offense, man, who they might need to come into the game, like you say, already in mentality that they down 14.
Yeah, no, I mean, so this Oklahoma State offense is electric, but they're playing arguably probably one of the best defenses in the Big 12 in Kansas State. Kansas State isn't really known for their offensive prowess. They live and die with their defense. And so this is an Oklahoma State team that scores 44 points a game going up against a Kansas State team that only gives up 19, right? I mean, when you talk about Big 12 football, man, 19 might as well be 0. I mean,
yeah, that's true. But we said that last week going into TCU game. TCU put up 38. So, what are you thinking? Do you think it was just that TCU was that good at that time, or if Oklahoma State? I think Oklahoma State has just as potent offense. What about that?
I really think you look at the Adrian Martinez injury of they run the ball, they eat a lot of clock, they control a lot of clock, and I think they've up their offensive tactic a little bit. It left their defense in some bad spots. And I mean, again, we can't really say injuries. Everybody has injuries. You have to play the game. That's why you recruit. That's why you have 2 deep and 3 deep. But still, I mean, you look at those 12 carries, man, and you're just like head scratching when you live by your defense and running the ball. I mean, for the State team, you're looking at an Oklahoma State team that runs for 153 a game. They throw for 363 a game. I mean, 466 total offense. They can put it up and they can hit you in a hurry. They have playmakers on the outside. Spencer Sanders is taking care of the ball this year, which we've brought up multiple times. He's not turning the ball over, and they have some running game. I mean, they're well balanced. Even at the 150, we talked about some other teams that are a little bit better, well balanced, or can move the ball on both sides a little bit. But this Oklahoma State attack is deadly, in its own right.
With this K-State defense, man, like their offense, I think they need to play some complementary football to help the K-State defense versus this Oklahoma State offense. You know what I'm saying? So, but on the other side, you got K-State offense versus that Oklahoma State defense. And we all know the Oklahoma State, you know what I'm saying, has a pretty decent front. Their secondary leaves something to be desired. I mean, like I say, listen, Quinn Ewers threw for over 3, but he also threw 3 picks too. So at the end of the day, they got some stops when they needed to. But this Kansas State offense, I think they come into this game with a little bit of an advantage because Oklahoma State defense hasn't seen much of Will Howard. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, I mean we talk about it all the time. I mean, what's the film on a guy? You see all the time a guy comes in with no film and it can kind of shock you. But I think, he played majority of that TCU game, except for the couple of drives he was out. I think that's enough film that they've shown. Plus, you kind of know who Kansas State is. And look, Oklahoma State, we talked about they make the stops on defense when they need them, but they don't live on that side of the ball. They're willing to get into the 40 to 45 shootout with you and just trust that they can score more than you can, and their defense will make the play when they have to.
So I guess the question is, do you think K-State offense can hang points to keep pace with that Oklahoma State offense?
Now, I mean, I think if you look at talking about a game that's 38-41, I think Oklahoma State's going to win it. I think Kansas State's going to have to control the ball, sustain some drives. They're going to have to let Deuce Vaughn eat, and just let their workhorse be a workhorse. Kansas State has to win the time of possession, and it can't be close. I mean, they need to hold the time of possession. They have to come away with points when they get in plus territory, and then they're going to need their defense to create a couple of turnovers. I mean, we've talked about it. I mean, Spencer Sanders was a turnover machine last year. Can they figure him out and get that back rolling for them? And if their defense can come up with a couple turnovers and they're controlling the clock, there's definitely a way to find themselves to win this game.
Yeah. Now this game is a midday game, and Oklahoma State's been good at midday games this season. They're 3-1 in midday games, meaning like 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern. On to the predictions. Give us the spreads and the over-unders here, man.
Yeah, so the over-under is going to be 58 points, and Kansas State is actually favored by 1.5. So, I mean, a true coin flip, the home team only getting 1.5. Typically, Vegas likes to give the home team 3 points just for playing at home. So you got to think that this is just a pure flip of the coin in the betting mind as far as what they think is going to happen. But that looks like that. Listen, I was going to say that a lower scoring game favors, I think, Kansas State, and a higher shootout type game is going to favor Oklahoma State because they can do it with the best of them. And over under of 58, that's like, and they're saying a 1.5 point game. It's like 30-28, and that might favor Kansas State. That could favor Kansas State. I tell you, my X factor for this game is going to be third down defense. Kansas State only converts about 31% of their third down conversion attempts, where Oklahoma State is up to 40%. What defense can get off the field on third downs? If Kansas State's given up 40 or 50% to Oklahoma State on third down conversions, I think they're in for a long day. And on the same side, if they're only converting 30%, they could be in some trouble. You don't want to give Oklahoma State a lot of drives, and you also don't want to keep putting your defense out there. I mean, a couple 3-and-outs for Kansas State could be horrific for their defense, especially with the potent offense that Oklahoma State has.
So I think the key to the game is going to be whether or not Adrian Martinez plays, because like you said, they have about 3.5 quarters of film on, or 3.5 quarters of film on Will Howard, but he threw it more than they ran it. But if they come out and they run Deuce Vaughn or Adrian Martinez is back, Adrian Martinez is actually one of the leading rushers in the Big 12 with 9 touchdowns. Then it's two totally different games that you have to prepare for. So I think that's going to be the key. And of course, we don't know that as of yet. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State for that reason, because if Will Howard plays, then and they stick to what we saw last week, they're going to try to pass more than they run. I don't think that favors them against the offense like Oklahoma State, who can put up points just like TCU did. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma State to win 38-31.
Oh, so you're taking the over on it.
Yep.
So I'm also taking Oklahoma State. I got them going to win 34-21. Maybe a late touchdown to salt it away, but I think it's going to be a good game, especially in the first half. I think we're going to see some competitive football. I just think the Oklahoma State offense is going to be too much for Kansas State. Kansas State doesn't want to get in a shootout, and I think that at times we're going to see where it's going to maybe feel like that. Their defense might settle down, but by that point, it's going to be too little too late.
There it is, Oklahoma State and Kansas State fans, man. Get in the comments. Let us know what you think the score is going to be and what you think the keys to the game. Kansas State fans, if you do have any inside knowledge on Adrian Martinez, let us know in the comments as well. For the Stat Guy, this is Coach High, the Fan Addict. Yeah.
got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the fanatic, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gon' eat everything up off they plate?